The European continent has seen some significant political changes in the last decades, concerning a rise in far-right anti-establishment and anti-immigration parties in most countries, a relating immigration crisis of 2015, the Brexit vote in 2016, and the following turmoil between the EU and the United Kingdom, as well as the Russian annexation of Crimea and the war in eastern Ukraine. In this series, I will try to take a look at the political leadership across the European continent and give light to development in some of the countries outside the main news coverage in most major nations. Following the, by comparison, short independence war from Yugoslavia in 1991, Slovenia has successfully developed a market economy and integrated into the EU, the Eurozone and NATO. In March 2020, Marian Šarec resigned from the position of Prime Minister of Slovenia and was succeeded by Janez Janša of the right-wing and nationalist Slovenian Democratic Party. This is the third time Janša acts as Prime Minister for the country, having the position previously between 2004 and 2008 and 2012 and 2013. Janša published critique of the Yugoslav People's Army in the years leading up to the independence war from Yugoslavia in the early 1990s. Articles he was sentenced to prison for. He served 6 months before being involved in the founding of an opposition party, a party he since 1993 to this day is the leader of. Janša served his second time in prison for a few months in 2014, following a corruption scandal during his second term as Prime Minister, a conviction later overturned by the Constitutional Court. The other former Yugoslav nation currently an EU member is Croatia, being the latest at the time of writing to join the Union in 2013. Croatian politics is dominated by the left-of-center Social Democratic Party, currently holding the position of president, and the right-of-center Croatian Democratic Union, represented by Andrej Plenković, as the Prime Minister since 2016. Plenković, previously being a member of the European Parliament, campaigned on a pro-EU platform in 2016. Croatia established a democratic political system following the independence from Yugoslavia in 1991, much like their northern neighbor of Slovenia. The war officially went on for 4 years, but effectively ended after the ceasefire in January 1992. Serbia formed an independent state in 2006, after a peaceful separation from the decade-long union with Montenegro, since the breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s. Currently, both the President and the Prime Minister represents the Serbian Progressive Party, founded in 2008 after a split with the far-right Serbian Radical Party. While still holding a conservative right-wing agenda, the Progressive Party has adopted more EU-friendly policies. After Aleksandar Vučić was elected president in 2017, he left the position of Prime Minister he had held up until that point, and Ana Brnabić succeeded him as head of government. Under the Progressive Party, Serbia has continued to take steps to economically adopt to the European Union, to make a membership possible in the years to come. Serbia today has participated in NATO activities, but are reluctant to join following the NATO involvements in the Kosovo war in the late 1990s. Since 2008, Kosovo, previously an autonomous province in southern Serbia, has proclaimed independence, but has not been accepted as independent by Serbia. Under Vučić and Brnabić, Serbia has declined to partly free in the Freedom House Index, and the leadership has been criticized for remarks downplaying the genocide in Srebrenica during the Bosnian War. Bosnia and Herzegovina was established after proclaiming independence in 1992 and fighting the brutal Bosnian War up until the peace agreement in Dayton in 1995. Today, the country has a, to put it mildly, complicated political system. The country is made up of 2 geographical areas, Bosnia to the north and Herzegovina to the south, neither being administrative regions. The country has a central government with 3 presidents representing the 3 recognized ethnical groups within the country: Bosniaks, Serbs and Croats. The power held by the central government is however limited in the decentralized nation. Instead, it constitutes of the entities Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Republika Srpska and the Brčko district. It is currently a candidate nation for membership in both EU and NATO. Bosnia and Herzegovina also have a high representative selected by the European Union to oversee the implementation of the Dayton Agreement of 1995. The High Representative, currently Valentin Inzko of Austria, can surpass the national government and remove public officials from office without hearing if he or she finds they have violated the peace agreement. So far, hundreds of public officials on different levels of service have been removed from office during the last 20 years, and the process has been criticized for lack of transparency. As of 2006, Montenegro parted from Serbia and became an independent nation. Ever since the introduction of a multi-party system in 1991, the Democratic Party of Socialists of Montenegro has been a major part of every coalition government formed. Currently, both President Milo Đukanović and Prime Minister Duško Marković represent the ideologically broad party. President Đukanović has a long political career behind him as Prime Minister of Montenegro between 1991 and 1998, 2003 to 2006, 2008 to 2010, and finally from 2012 to 2016. He also held the presidency once earlier between 1998 and 2002. Despite holding great continuous support from a sizable share of the population, he isn't without controversy. Ties to the mafia caused him to win the not-so-honorable title of Person of the Year in Organized Crime in 2015. The government of Marković has seen protests in the last year, following allegations of corruption and controversial policies. Kosovo has, since the declaration of independence from Serbia in 2008, gained partial support from just over half of the world's nations. Russia and China in the UN Security Council, alongside Serbia, still consider the declaration illegal, and the relationship between the governments of Kosovo and Serbia has been rather cold ever since. Kosovo was, under the Yugoslavian era, ethnically and religiously mixed between, among other groups, Kosovo Serbs and Kosovo Albanians. Tensions rose during the last decades of Yugoslavia existing, and in the late 1990s, war broke out, leading to a NATO intervention backing the Kosovo Liberation Army, alongside the Albanian army. Later, NATO held control of the area, as the Yugoslavian troops left. The war caused thousands of deaths, and the displacement of over 1 million people, including hundreds of thousands of non-ethnically Albanian descent, leaving after the war had ended. Since 2013, Serbia has recognized the legitimacy of the Kosovo political institutions and their control of the area. Currently, the largest party in the Kosovo parliament is the Social Democrat and nationalist Vectorized, led by Prime Minister Albin Kurti. Kurti was sworn in on the 3rd of February in 2020, but was ousted less than 2 months later. Currently, he is leading the interim government until the formation of a new leadership of Kosovo. Communism fell in Albania in 1991 and was followed by an election in which the former ruling Communist Party held on to power before losing in the 1992 election. After a westernization and privatization of large parts of the economy, Albania joined NATO in 2009 and is a candidate for membership in the European Union. Edi Rama is the current Prime Minister since 2013, representing the Socialist Party. Rama has, in his center-left coalition, worked for a stronger police force and European integration, but the process to join the EU is so far stagnated by democratic concerns from the Union. The government has also been criticized for a lack of transparency. Rama has, both after the elections in 2013 and 2017, appointed an equal number of male and female ministers, for the first time in the country's history. The once sour relations with Serbia has also thawed after bilateral visits to Belgrade. This despite Albania's close relationship with Kosovo and their support for an independent nation, or even integration between Kosovo and Albania. The recently renamed North Macedonia left Yugoslavia, unlike Slovenia, Croatia and Bosnia, peacefully in 1991, but was affected by the Kosovo War in 1999 and the large influxes of refugees. Tension in Macedonia rose during 2001 between the government and the ethnic Albanians demanding independence. An intervention of NATO forced the separatists to give up their claims to independence, while they enjoyed larger political power and recognition. Prime Minister Zoran Zaev of the Social Democratic Union of Macedonia was Prime Minister between 2017 and January of 2020, leading a 7-party coalition. During this period, discussions with Greece over the name dispute intensified, and finally in 2018, led to Macedonia adding North to their official name and Greece dropping their claims to the name. North Macedonia could then join NATO, which went into effect in March 2020, and the start of the process of joining EU that same month. Zaev left the position and was replaced by current Prime Minister Oliver Spasovski in January 2020. Elections were supposed to be held in April, but has been postponed due to the outbreak of COVID-19. In the next video in this series, we will focus on the southern nations of Europe.